Good evening, Rachel.
Good evening, Chris. Thank you, my friend. Much appreciated. And thanks to you at home for joining us this hour. Very happy to have you here. The capital of Vermont is the beautiful city of Montpelier. This was yesterday at the state capitol in Montpelier. Protesters outside rallying on the steps of the state capitol. They also marched outside. They ended up protesting inside, including with some state legislators among them, all to show support for Mohsen Madawi. A Vermonter and one of the international students, also a legal permanent resident, who Donald Trump has arrested, even though he's not accused of any crime. This was yesterday at the state capitol in Montpelier. This was early this morning in Burlington, Vermont. People turning out about an hour away from Montpelier in Burlington because Burlington is where the federal courthouse is. And they turned out there early this morning. After rallying at the State House yesterday, they turned out there early this morning while a federal judge held a hearing on Mr. Madawi's case. And at that hearing, the judge ruled that Mohsen Madawi cannot be moved out of Vermont. The Trump administration cannot move him to some immigration prison in Louisiana or somewhere else all the way across the country. The judge says he needs to stay where he is. His lawyers say they are going to be back before this same judge next week, and they will be seeking Mr. Madawi's immediate release. Today, two of the law firms that are fighting in court against Trump's efforts to target them had federal court hearings. The judges in both of those hearings appeared to favor the arguments from the law firms against the Trump administration, as they have in every hearing thus far involving these cases. But I will tell you, there was a little bit of a logistical complication in trying to get that reporting from those two court hearings today, because in both of those court hearings today, the courtrooms were packed to the rafters, every seat full and then some, which made it hard for some reporters to get in. The stakes are very high. People want to be there to witness it. People are showing up. Last night, as the car company Tesla held its earnings call to discuss that company's catastrophic decline in fortune this year, folks in Seattle held a party at a local bar to listen to the sound of the call and to cheer their guts out when Elon Musk announced that he would be scaling back his time in Washington to instead try to salvage his flailing company. People all over the country, including in Seattle, have made this strategic decision to protest Tesla, to protest Elon Musk's role in the destruction of the federal government by focusing on that company, which of course is the source of his wealth and therefore his power. The company's nosedive, which was announced and conceded formally by the company in that call last night, the company nosediving has been the whole point of those protests, which have succeeded in their aim. And the damage to Tesla may very well be irrevocable, but so is much of the damage that Elon Musk and Donald Trump have done together in Washington. The only thing successful here is the focus on Tesla strategy, which has apparently succeeded in pushing Elon Musk out of the bizarre, unprecedented, unelected government role he took in Washington after paying for Donald Trump's presidential campaign. It worked. Pushback doesn't always work, but not pushing back never works. And sometimes when you do push back, you win. So this is my last week of doing this show 5 nights a week. I said around inauguration time that I would be here for the first 100 days of Trump's term in office. That 100 days is up a week from tonight. And so a week from tonight will be my last night of this 5-day-a-week thing. I will stop doing 5 nights a week. Next week, I will go back to just doing Mondays. I'm not going away. I'm going to be here every Monday. And the great Jen Psaki is going to be here at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, Tuesday to Friday. You're going to love it. Don't worry. It's all going to be fine. But as we get to this benchmark, which is going to be a transition for me, I've been thinking about what we've been through this past 90-plus days as we're heading toward the 100-day benchmark. And I realized that at least the way that I have come to understand what we're going through, it's got kind of, I guess it's got like 3 sides to it. I mean, yes, this is a story of Trump's extremism, right? We really are, without a doubt, going through a kind of attempted authoritarian takeover of our country. And that has included destroying as much of the government as possible and using the government in every way they can to try to hurt people in the country who the president wants targeted. They are having government attempted takeovers of huge swaths of civil society, including the legal profession and education and even like museums. They are banning books. They are policing what words people are allowed to use in bizarre and authoritarian ways. They are using terror tactics and secret police tactics against people they are targeting, including secret detention and sending people to foreign gulags. They are reversing our alliances with the countries of the free world and aligning us with the dictatorships instead. They have freaking redecorated the White House with cheesy-looking gold gewgaws, so it looks like a cheap budget hotel version of the Kremlin. I mean, like, we are there. The authoritarian project is definitely here. It is what we are up against. Everybody who warned against that before the election was correct, no question. That's part of it. Right. The second part of what we're going through is the country loudly and roundly saying no to that. People protesting against him in every single state in the country, in blue states, in red states, in big cities, in small towns, in Washington, and everywhere else. I mean, every single freaking day. This was yesterday in Detroit and yesterday in San Diego. People protesting, saying, hands off the EPA. This was Tyler, Texas yesterday. People absolutely reaming out their Republican Congressman Nathaniel Moran at a town hall in his district in Tyler, Texas. This was North Carolina earlier this week. People in Republican Congressman Ted Budd's district holding an empty chair town hall there for him, to which he refused to show up. They packed the house anyway without him. This is Pomona, California yesterday. People turned out to protest at a Home Depot parking lot after Trump's immigration agents came there earlier that day and arrested people from that parking lot. The community turned out in response. This was 40 minutes away in Anaheim, outside the offices of Republican Congressman Young Kim, people protesting against the Trumpcades to Medicaid, which will be absolutely devastating in Kim's district and in most places around the country. And everywhere. This just, you know, like snapshot. Headlines today. Everywhere, every state, people turning out and saying no every way they can. That has been part of the story, too, and one that we've tried to keep in focus here on this show. But I said there's kind of, I think, three parts to this story. It's Trump's extremism, people saying no. But there then is this third thing, which has been the undercurrent to all of it. And to me, I think it is the real lesson of the first 100 days. I mean, I know the first 100 days is like an artificial benchmark, but it's a benchmark that we are using. And if there is something to learn about what Trump in power is going to be like, I think the first 100 days have given us one very clear lesson, right? We know he's trying for the whole dictator thing, you know, no elections, no courts, no resistance, rule by terror, right? We know that. We know the people of this country aren't having it. But I think what we should also know, what we have just lived through in this first 90 plus days thus far, is him screwing up. It's him absolutely blowing it. I mean, it is one thing to understand the gravity of his intentions, but I think it is equally important to recognize that he's really bad at everything he tries to do. I don't know if he's bad at good stuff he tries to do, because he's not trying to do much that seems good. But the bad stuff he's trying to do, he's been real bad at that. I mean, it hasn't been funny exactly. It's too disgusting for that, but it has been the proverbial comedy of errors. Let me show you what I mean. You remember the first big surprise destroy the government thing that he did right after the inauguration? He sent out a White House memo ordering the freezing of all federal funding, all federal grants. And then less than 48 hours, oops, had to take that back. Headline, Trump White House rescinds memo freezing federal grants after widespread confusion and legal challenges. Quote, President Donald Trump's budget office on Wednesday rescinded a memo freezing spending on federal grants less than 2 days after it sparked widespread confusion and legal challenges across the country. The Monday evening memo from the White House Office of Management and Budget sparked uncertainty and left the White House scrambling to explain what would and wouldn't be subject to a pause in funding. So it was kind of the first big thing he did, and then they immediately had to take that back. Did we say freeze federal funding? We didn't. We're just going to, that's rescinded. We'll try that again, right out of the gate. And then Right on the heels of that, you remember this one? When they accidentally put somebody in charge of the FBI who they didn't mean to? Quote, White House officials goofed on the White House website. You don't see the word goofed in the Wall Street Journal all that often. White House officials goofed on the White House website and listed the wrong man in charge of the FBI, people familiar with the matter said. Instead of correcting the error, White House officials let it stand. And the two men traded temporary titles at the FBI. So they, accidentally put the wrong person as the acting head of the FBI. Mixed up the names. We didn't mean to put you in there. Oh well, who cares? We'll just let the other guy we didn't mean to put in charge of the FBI be in charge of the FBI. What could possibly go wrong? Immediately after that, turns out they accidentally put the names of hundreds of CIA officers in an unclassified email and sent it to the White House, where things like that just kind of happen now. That same day, we learned that Trump has accidentally made it impossible for the Postal Service to accept mail from China. Trump made an announcement about shipping things from China. He had no idea, apparently, what the implications of that announcement would be. But then the post office announced, based on what you said, sir, this means America can no longer receive mail from China. And, well, I'm not exactly sure what he did mean, but that wasn't what he meant. So, that had to be reversed, too. By then, the president's top campaign donor was working his bizarre magic in Washington, so we got the accidental firing of the National Nuclear Security Agency, which handles the safe transportation, storage, assembly, and dismantling of our nation's nuclear weapons. We didn't mean to do that. Trump administration fires and then tries to rehire nuclear weapons workers in DOJ reversal. Then this was the very next day. Headline, New York Times. DOJ claimed it saved $8 billion in one contract. It was actually $8 million. So that's cool. They were off by roughly 100,000%. But, don't forget, these are the smart guys, smart kids. Next day, headline, Agriculture Department tries to rehire fired workers tied to bird flu response. We accidentally fired all the bird flu people in the middle of the bird flu. Can we get them back? No, we can't. That same day, headline, Trump administration reverses plan to end free COVID test program. The taxpayers bought all these COVID tests, perfectly good COVID tests. They're still COVID. People are still testing for COVID to see if they have COVID. But because the Trump administration doesn't like COVID, they're going to what? Incinerate millions of tests, of perfectly good tests? So Americans instead have to buy more of them by paying for themselves instead of getting the free ones the government already bought to hand out? Seriously? No, not seriously. Reverse that one, too. This was also that same day. This is a big day in Oopsville. Headline, Trump administration reverses its previous decision and reinstates legal aid for migrant children. Yeah, turns out babies don't make great lawyers. Doesn't work out great to have literally babies and toddlers appearing in court alone with a judge asking them questions. I said, all rise, baby. Are you able to stand on your own? Oh, actually, sorry. Yeah, they reversed that, too. They have since tried again to take away the lawyers for babies and little kids in court after this initial reversal. So this one actually remains a live issue. I don't know if that's better. 2 days later, we accidentally cut the program that helps the 9/11 first responders. Did we mean to do that? I think we did mean to do that, but we certainly can't defend it now that people are asking us to defend it. So that one gets reversed, too. Then Trump's top campaign donor, Elon Musk, tries on the federal government the same thing he did to destroy the company Twitter. He sends out the "What did you do last week?" email, insisting that anybody who doesn't immediately respond to that email will instantly be fired from the federal government, no exceptions. Really? Seriously? No, not really, and definitely not seriously. Headline, federal agencies can ignore "What did you do last week?" email, Trump administration says. Then this is the following day. We get news from the VA, where Trump has cut things like, oh, I don't know, little liberal woke programs like cancer treatment and support for veterans with cancer and burial services for veterans. Trump cut burial services for veterans? Really? Yeah, for a hot minute until people freaked out. And so, yeah, he reversed that too. I mean, are you kidding me? He was not kidding. Next, headline, VA contract cancellations halted in major reversal. Maybe at this point, they're getting a little shy about screwing up so much, about having to take back and try to undo all these things that they're messing up. No, they're just getting warmed up. The very next day after taking back the veterans' burials that Trump cut, we get this headline, Elon Musk admits Doge accidentally eliminated prevention measures combating Ebola virus. Oops. The next day, headline, Trump administration reverses course after putting Veterans Crisis Line hires on hold. Quote, due to an administrative error, job offers for some Veterans Crisis Line positions that were scheduled to be filled later this month were mistakenly rescinded. This issue has been addressed, and VA is in the process of reissuing these offers. Due to an administrative error. What kind of administrative error has you accidentally cutting the suicide hotline? That same week, headline, struggling with errors, Doge deletes billions more from list of savings. Quote, Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency has deleted hundreds more claims from its mistake-plagued wall of receipts. Late Sunday night, the group erased or altered more than 1,000 contracts it had claimed to cancel, representing more than 40% of all the contracts listed on its site last week. And then this was the next day. Headline, Trump abruptly walks back his directive to fire thousands of federal employees. Quote, in revised guidance issued to the heads of federal agencies, the Office of Personnel Management tries to rewrite history by claiming it never actually ordered agencies to fire those employees. Let's pretend we didn't do that one. And then this was the next day. Oh, this was a great one. Quote, at 2 p.m. Tuesday, the Trump administration posted a list of 443 properties for sale, an inventory that ranged from an El Paso toll booth to the FDA's research campus in Silver Spring, Maryland. In the next 5 hours, more than 100 properties were removed from the catalog, including the headquarters of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the headquarters of the Department of Health and Human Services, the headquarters of the Department of Justice, the headquarters of the Department of Labor, and the headquarters of Veterans Affairs. By Wednesday morning, the entire list had been removed. So yes, Trump did announce that he was selling hundreds of federal buildings, including, I don't know, the headquarters of the Justice Department. But did he mean that? We're not even sure if we know. Oops. They just put them all up for sale and then took them all down and didn't answer any questions about what had happened there. Pretend that didn't happen. Then this was the very next day. Headline. In dizzying reversal, Trump pauses tariffs on some Mexican and Canadian products. A few days later, headline, Trump administration scraps far-reaching cuts to Social Security phone services after Washington Post report. Oh, this was genius. Quote, the Social Security, this is amazing. The Social Security numbers and other private information of more than 400 former congressional staffers and others, including President Trump's own lawyer, were made public Tuesday in the unredacted files related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy that President Trump ordered released. After the Post reported the disclosure on Wednesday, the White House rushed to mitigate the impact. The National Archives then started screening the documents for Social Security numbers after they had already been publicly released. National Archives started screening the documents for Social Security numbers after the fact so that the Social Security Administration could identify living individuals and issue them new Social Security numbers. Oops. Oops. We accidentally very thoroughly doxed hundreds of people, including the president's own lawyer publishing like their names, their place of birth, their full birth dates, and their full unredacted Social Security numbers. Hundreds of them. Oops. Then the following week, we get, oh, this is a real oops. Jeffrey Goldberg, editor of The Atlantic magazine, headline, the Trump administration accidentally texted me its war plans. Then this one, headline, Trump administration admits Maryland man sent to El Salvador prison by mistake. 2 days later, headline, Trump's tariffs hit remote islands. One is home to mainly penguins. The next day, headline, will make mistakes, says RFK Jr., as fired U.S. health staff asked to return.
The baker and the handyman's sweet connection. In a quaint village nestled in a picturesque valley, there stood a small house in the shape of a mushroom. This whimsical home belonged to a young boy named Jamie, barely out of high school, who had a passion for baking. Inside, his cozy kitchen was always filled with the sweet aroma of cakes, cookies, and all sorts of delightful treats. What made his creation special was that each of his cakes was shaped like tiny mushrooms, a nod to his quirky home. Jamie's baking became the talk of the town. From birthdays to celebrations, everyone in the village adored his sweets.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
Sable's Song, A Siren's Journey to Joy. Once upon a time, in a small, worn-out town in Middle America, there lived a little child named Sable. Worn into poverty, Sable's body was frail, so thin that you could see her bones, but her heart was filled with an exuberance that not even hunger could dull. Sable was awkward, with dark, deep-set eyes that sparkled with innocence and wonder. Despite being born a boy, Sable always knew she was different. Inside her lived a girl, bright and effervescent, waiting to bloom.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
The Park of Secrets.
In the year 2060, near the heart of Florida, just a stone's throw from Disney World, stood a theme park unlike any other, a place known as the House of Secrets. It was a magical park, much like a state fair, filled with towering rides, carnival games, and parades that drew people from all over the world. But among the grand Ferris wheel and the colorful day parade, there was one attraction that outshined them all, the parade princess, a mesmerizing mermaid named Kenya. Kenya was a sight to behold. At 22 years old, fresh out of college, she had the kind of beauty that drew people to her like moths to a flame. Her brown skin glowed under the park lights, her hair a stunning mix of purple and pink that cascaded over her shoulders. Little pink hearts adorned her cheeks, and a ribbon of color stretched across her nose. But it wasn't just her beauty that made her special. Her eyes, big and almond-shaped, seemed to capture the hearts of everyone who saw.
Discover the magic of the Park of Secrets. Step into a world of wonder with the Park of Secrets, a heartwarming tale by Ariel Williams that will captivate your imagination. This enchanting story is now available exclusively on Lulu Books.
The Future, Daughters of Liberty, A New Dawn. In 2040, the United States was a fractured nation, still reeling from the fallout of Project 2025, the catastrophic policy that had allowed a resurgence of systemic oppression. The Deep South had seceded once more, forming the antebellum republic, where human trafficking, racial inequality, and gender oppression became tragically normalized. The Second Civil War erupted as the rest of the nation sought to free those trapped in this dystopian regime. After years of bloodshed, Kamala Harris had finally led the Union to victory, restoring a fragile sense of hope. But the battle scars ran deep, especially in places like Louisiana, where the remnants of a broken society still lingered.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
A Dying Planet, The Last Harvest.
In the year 2060, Earth is a shadow of its former self, choked by pollution, endless concrete, and abandoned by nature. Only a small fishing village by the sea has managed to preserve the planet's last untouched forest. In this dying world, June and Win, two young girls and the last children in their village, cling to the remnants of hope and innocence. Win roams the forest, collecting the season's last harvest, while June sings songs that echo with a haunting beauty through the village.
Get your digital copy today at lulubooks.com and experience the adventure in EPUB or PDF format. Make sure you have a compatible reader to dive into this unforgettable journey. Don't miss out, unlock the secrets, and let the story begin.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.